All right, everybody, welcome to the 2026 RWL post-draft analysis. Maybe the question is, why is there only three guys up here? The committee here to talk about the draft have to have won a championship because they would know what it takes to win and win the draft. So we got three managers on today. I'm with Luke Rotundo, manager of the Central Cowboys. Starting to call him LeBron James. That finals record's looking a little ugly, but still
True.
won it a couple years ago. And then the reigning champ Tate Yanik, the year of Tate
Yeah.
Yanik. He's
The
here.
real LeBron James.
We're gonna get into some post draft thoughts here. Looking at the graphic here, we can go through a bunch of these questions, spit off the Domini takes these fellas have. I know Tate and Luke have been very eager to get on here and just say a lot of their thoughts because this was definitely one of the most interesting drafts we've ever had. I think definitely the most interesting because of the movement and where people landed. But without further ado, we'll get into this thing. How do
Yeah.
you?
First thing I kind of want to say is like before this, Ben texted me and was like, "Hey, if you have any notes, like write them down." So I do have one note, and it's just the Pacific are going to be 0 and 18. I don't think if you can see that, but that's what we got going right here. Pacific will be 0 and 18. So that's my one note that I had to
The greatest
mention.
rivalry in the league.
Yeah, well, it's not a rivalry
You have
actually.
to
Every time
win.
I've played, I've swept that team, so I don't.
I
That's a
will.
factual stat. You can check that
I
too.
will say a lot of the media teams have been crawling up my back and Tate and Blake to just forego this championship rematch week one and just make it Pacific Frost. But I have to stick to tradition here, and it'll be these two gentlemen playing each other week one. But I think we might have to schedule that week two, guys.
It's all right. I mean, it's week two, just an auto 3-0 win, so it doesn't really matter. That's fun. Not fun to watch for the league.
Luke, is there anything you want to get off your chest that any? I know you probably don't have a take like that because Tate's probably been waiting to get that one off the chest for a while.
No, not really. Looking forward to getting the rematch though in week one. Try to avenge Luke Parker, who's playing baseball up in the Piney Woods this summer. So, we're gonna try to redo it with Michael. But yeah, I guess if we want to start like going through this, like I'll
Yeah.
start with like who I think won the draft.
Sorry to cut you off here, Luke. I think the first thing to talk about too, I'm very excited about this league, is the engagement from the players and the fans
Oh
this
yeah,
year
yeah.
has been at an all-time high. The insights on the Instagram are looking stellar. They're not converting to followers that well, but the insights are looking great. And as you guys can see this graphic on our screen, GPT's been putting in a lot of work in the payroll, so expect some great quality this season from the Instagram and the YouTube. So it's my final thoughts, but let's get into the draft. Let's talk about the meat and potatoes of what happened the other night. Luke, if you want to start us off.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, not going to glaze, but my pick for who won the draft, I'm going with the Serpents. I think when you're looking at like 1-2 punches in the league, it's not going to get much better than Ben and Chase on the mound. And then to get a guy like Alex Coco at 8 seems kind of ridiculous. Like I think it was 3 years ago he finished like third in MVP, which some people could call that like the plumber league, like the plumber era of the league,
Right.
but he still bat 400, hit like I can't remember like 8 home runs or something. And then to get his brother a late round pick, I mean, Adam's a guy like, you start to look middle of the second round, like that's your guy. And so, to get him that late is just impressive for the Serpents. So they're my pick for who won the draft, but obviously like a lot of wiffle ball between now and the end
Honestly
of the
played.
year.
Tate, what
Yeah,
do you think is your team on the draft?
I think I'm gonna have to agree with that statement. I think last year we learned how important pitching is, especially when you look at like the Frost, won it all, two good pitchers.
True.
Having able to, most of the time that second game kind of just gets chopped if you win the first game because you like just throw someone random out on the mound. But having those two pitchers is obviously really big. So again, the Serpents are looking pretty deadly.
Can I add one thing, Ben,
Oh
before you
yeah,
talk?
go
I
ahead.
want to just add, like, outside of the team who won the draft, I want to give a shout out to, I think, who the manager who won the draft. And I think Tate's going to hate to hear it, but I got to give it to Blake Kurlander, Mr. Billy Bean, making the unbelievable move to force a trade to get Jack Sanders. Greatest move I've seen in my lifetime. So gotta glaze Blake and give him a shout out.
Yeah,
It's disgusted.
those are some good takes, and I mean, I am very pleasant with my draft. I really do. Honestly, like going into the draft, Tate, I really was very concerned with the moves that you made to get one, just because of the supporting cast that you potentially could have. But I just
Yeah.
think getting Faraka at 12 is such a great. I mean, he went seventh in our draft last year or sixth. And getting him at
Oh,
12
true.
seems really good value, and I think that that's going to help the team around. So I really like what Tate did,
Yeah.
going up and getting his guy Clayton. And the biggest thing about getting Clayton too is we've seen that guy's Achilles heel is Tate Yanik, and he just removed his only weakness
True.
Yeah.
being on his team. So
Yeah.
definitely going to be interesting. I think Tate did a very good job, and maybe he could be the guy who could help Van Eyck in year five. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of development in the Frost. But unfortunately, I mean, we've been talking about the Pacific. Jack Sanders is just going to develop. Like, no, he's not going to develop anymore. He's just going to. I love the guy, and it makes me sad that he's, sentenced to where he's sentenced. But I mean, the undevelopment from Jax is just going to hurt the soul. That's all I kind of have to say.
And Tate, when you talk about the hit on the Pacific Development, what is your thoughts on Project Hunter Nichols, who had a very bad season last year? Being on a new team, do you think with your logic he's going to flourish?
Oh, Hunter, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was wanting to take Hunter at 12 because now that Hunter's gotten rid of the curse, he might go. If we had this draft next year, he might be a top 5 player. That's it. That's my take.
That's a good take.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's a
yeah,
good
and then
yeah,
one
but go
thing,
ahead.
Luke, you said a manager who did the best, not best team. I am actually going to give it to Everett Kaplan. I think he did a
Mm.
really good job. He was picked at 6, 7, and 16, I think. And when those picks got released, everyone was like, whoever's the Outlaws manager is going to have the worst team. And he somehow made Blake trade back 2 spots without gaining
Yeah, I
anything.
mean that's just a great trade. Can we just talk about that trade for a second?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
Moving from
nice.
5 to 8 to 6 to 9, or what? I
yeah.
mean, what are
So
we
so
doing, guys?
I was at 3 and 10, and then Everett was at 6 and 7. So I'm not a rigged commissioner. Blake proposes this trade where Blake goes from 5 and 8 to 6 and 9, and I'm like, me and Everett are like, Blake, like you're losing this, and I didn't want to do it because like he's literally not gaining anything. He goes, no, my guys are later on. It doesn't matter. So we're like, okay. I don't know. But yeah, I think Everett Kaplan did a really, really good job. He traded up into the draft to get a superstar player, potentially in Zion. And then I do think the biggest upside player in the draft, I told Luke, is like even Tate, you just said it, like Hunter Nichols could somehow end up being like a top 5 player in the league. The floor is
Yeah.
very low, but the ceiling is probably the highest of anyone in the draft class. So it's going to be interesting. I really like what he did.
Yeah, talking about draft picks too, something that kind of scared me when I was looking at the AI pictures that were posted. I mean, this guy looks like a stud. And he got drafted what? Where did he get
11th,
drafted? I
11th in
mean,
the
11th.
Cowboys,
11,
man.
dude. I mean,
Shout out Alec.
is this just another like I mean, are we just
Luke Parker
throwing random
pick.
people in that just play? I know. I mean, is this another Luke Parker situation we just talk
Um,
about? Huh?
And I also
That's what
want
me
to
and Ben talk about all the time. Like the depth of the league has just gotten ridiculous. Where you got
because yeah,
like
like
you got a guy
again,
like Farrak and Dupe and Alec Baldwin going so late in the draft. These are like baseball athletic types. Like a couple
Yeah.
years ago, those guys are going like into the first, early
oh
second.
yeah, even I think Dubek for this honestly is me and Blake were talking during the draft. I was like, if Daniel goes 14th to the Cowboys, like the league's over. Like if y'all's worst player was Daniel, I was like, dude. So Dubek taking him there like saved the potential dynasty. But like yeah, Daniel going 13th too. I mean, that guy hit like
Well,
three.
that's Ben. I told you like if there was going to be a Moneyball movie made out off a single player in RWL, I would say it's going to be Daniel Hawkins because the guy's like a 400 hitter, but he always like he they were able to get him first pick in the third round, which is insane to me. So I
Um,
think that I mean not to jump ahead, but that is like my biggest steal of the draft right there is Daniel
Yeah.
Bradley.
Well, we just talked about who like won the draft. What do you guys think is a team that might be like slept on, maybe a team that could finish top 3? Because I mean, non-biasedly, I think the 3 guys in the call are probably the top 3 for teams in winning it all and draft odds. But if there's a team that you guys could say slips into the top 3 that's not projected to, who do you guys think that team could be?
I'm gonna have to go with the Outlaws. You said it yourself. I mean, if Everett, I mean, towards the end of the year, obviously he was pitching a lot better. Zion's obviously has a lot of talent, but we just haven't seen a lot out of him. So if he can come out and perform, and then again, Hunter, dude, like that guy. I mean, what did he bat in the playoffs? Like 500? Like
Yeah,
he was.
he was hitting me,
I mean,
but to give
if he's
myself a little
picking it
credit, the guy
up.
was hitting some fucking dinkers. But he's hitting the
Yeah,
ball.
but I mean, 500 is 500. So, if he can pick it up, obviously he's not bound down by the Pacific Curse anymore, so he has a lot of upside now. And then obviously you got Kush, dude. Kush is my kryptonite. I think Kush has hit 6 home runs off of me.
No, I think
So,
it was 2. I don't know about 6.
dude, it's
Feels
it's
like
up there,
six.
Maybe it feels like
dude.
6 to you.
And he's probably hit. I think in 2 of them were grand slams. So
Yeah.
Kush has my number out. So honestly, that Outlaws team is not someone that I'm necessarily looking forward to playing.
Yeah, and to give like a yeah, to give a different opinion, like yeah, the two teams that I was thinking of was I think Tate laid out the Outlaws case really well there. The other team, I just gotta say, I'm gonna go with the Pacific. I think the the
Sorry.
whole thing, I've been a Pacific believer for like 2 years now, but I think we really saw it with like Blake at kind of the later half of last year, and then well, pretty much the whole year actually. And then you get a guy like Jackson, you just hope he can continue to pitch like he did when he was on Tate's team. And then you got a guy like Aaron, who's like a career 300 hitter, and so hopefully they're going to be able to um, maybe capture some of that magic. And obviously, can't forget our brother who ended up hitting a home run in the postseason. So it feels like,
Oh,
you got a
Steven.
decent. If Blake and Jax can continue their pitching, and Blake can continue that hot streak at the plate, it's like, there's a good chance they could be top three. Take
Yeah,
your
to
thoughts.
bounce off your belief there, Luke, because I think I mean Tate made it a point earlier is I think pitching is very important and they do have the pitching figured out. It's just the offense might be a little bit of a struggle. The team I would lean towards is probably the biggest wild card. I really like what Dubek did. I think they could be really deadly just because their offense is really good. Now the pitching is really I don't know how that's going to work, but like if Dubek just walks in his brother and is just like randomly like Luke Parker or something, and they're just like he's just a shutdown pitcher, then they are going to be unbelievable. I think their offense, like Tyler could get it back. Tyler could really find it this year, and then yeah, I like the Dubek brothers. I think he pulled together a really good and underrated draft. It's just going to be finding that pitching room, but if they could figure it out, they could be really good.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I guess I know Luke, you kind of already gave us your pick if you want to go on to it again, but like what would your biggest steal I heard was Daniel.
Yeah, I could give another one. Like I think Dan, like I was talking to Ben, like the key to get a biggest steal is I feel like you got to draft a guy who either is really proven or just has like a ton of upside kind of late in the round. And so I think my other pick would have been Tate taking Faraka at 12. Like
Hmm.
Ben just mentioned, he went. What did he go like
Seven.
6 a year
Yeah.
ago? And so Tate got him 6 spots later after he already kind of assembled like his top pick. So being able to get a guy like that with that much upside late in the draft, like that's certainly. That could end up being the biggest steal.
Yeah. I love the Andrew pick, man. I mean last year obviously took Jax late second round and now he's a fourth overall pick. Love that guy. Hopefully, I mean I'm not just gonna say this. If Baraka's the number one overall pick next year, not gonna be surprised.
That's that.
Uh,
That's the Frost development right there.
I mean, there's we just put so much money into it, and we really build up our facilities and stuff. People just love playing at the Frontier.
Could you say like the Pacific developed you to like become a
No, see,
uh,
look, I was playing at the Pacific and I turned to
did the
crap, and
opposite.
then next year, obviously MVP, Finals MVP, World Series, whatever. That just happens when you leave the Frost. That's what I'm saying. Hunter Nichols, dude, this guy's gonna ball out this year, and you mark my words.
Yeah, and Tate took the words out of my mouth. I think my biggest steal was Hunter at 10. I really like that pick. I was heavily considering him at 8, but I think the reason I steered away was, Alex falling there and just like the fact that I already took a pitcher. I didn't really need him, but like if Alex was taken at 7, I would have went Hunter at 8. So I really like ever getting him there at 10. Don't know if he's going to hit 105 again this year, but I would say probably not.
probably
But if he
not.
could, who
Yeah.
knows? The guy's arm might be toast, but he said he could pitch in this, the second half of the year. But I like Hunter at 10 for Kaplan.
Honestly, I think the pitching this year isn't going to be as good as it was last year. I think the world, like all the batting averages in the league will be up a little bit just with no Luke Parker. Um, batting against him is like basically just your batting average is going down when you're playing against him. Um, but I just don't think I think it's more spread out. I don't think a lot of teams have that 1-2 punch as much as they did last year. So I think batting averages will be up. I think Hunter Nichols is going to bat way above 100 this year.
Fair enough.
And just a random take to get out of here. My biggest, draft strategy, I guess, was one of them was, kind of drafting defense because, my in year 5, I just have never had a defense behind me. And as much as I love these guys, getting the Coco brothers, I mean, those are two cement
Yeah,
guys
I
in
don't.
the infield. So.
Talking about defense, Adam, I love Adam, but Adam might be the worst defender. Him and Tyler Martin are up there for worst defenders I've ever seen in RWL history.
Well, yeah, we'll see how Chase is at the hot corner, but I'm just hoping one of the Coco brothers can be somewhat decent at first. But we know if
Yeah,
I'm getting a ground ball, I'm just running at the first. That's what we're going to do again this season. We've done it all my career. So,
smart play, smart play.
yeah, biggest question for you guys heading into the season, I guess. I don't even know. That's such a broad question, but I
Yeah,
don't know what that could be.
I think I got one that Ben, me and you talked about pretty extensively after the draft is can the Express pitch?
Hmm.
Mm.
I think you got a guy like this. This is probably also my biggest wild card for the whole year. Like, because I think if the Express can, if they can figure out the pitching, there's a great case that they could be the biggest team that's left on.
Hmm.
But Austin being 2 years removed from the league, like can he come back and, kind of shove the way he used to? And then they, obviously like his brother comes from like a big baseball background, but hoping, on their team they're able to find a guy that can give you, 2 wins every series. So
Yeah.
that would mostly be my biggest question heading into the year.
Tate, I'm gonna jump you here because I think you're gonna answer my question.
Uh,
The biggest question is Blake Herlander gonna win a ring this year?
That's your biggest
It's
question?
just who knows? I I don't know. Is this the
Me
year that
too,
Blake
man.
does it, fellas? Tate?
I think he can.
I mean, I already threw up the 0 and 18. They're not winning it. They're not
I
sniffing.
I mean I think again like I think we saw it last year is other than like the Express because I think they were 6-12. The top team I think Tate y'all were like 12 and whatever, and then the fifth place
I
team
think
had
we're
8 wins.
12 and
So it
6.
was super like it's
Yeah.
the talent's really evening. Like you never really know if Blake can play like that and Jax plays like he did. I mean, there you never know. But
It's not necessarily the regular season, right? Like the regular
yeah,
season, like
true.
that's obviously important, like playing where you end up, but it's just that clutch factor. And obviously Jax has the clutch factor. He proved that. But Blake's as clutch as Joel Embiid. I mean, he's got no clutch gene in him. Um, so that their playoffs is just ruined. So that's not really a big question for me. I know how that's gonna work. But my biggest question, we haven't really talked a lot, is Cowboys. I mean, Michael Hopkins, obviously a great pick. But we don't really know his availability. You know what they say, the best ability is availability. So I don't know if I mean, obviously kind of said it earlier, but like playoffs all that matters. You there for the playoffs. That's obviously very big. And then their third pick, Alec, dude. I mean, this guy's just kind of like a wild card too. If he's, as good as he looks in his AI picture, I mean, the league might have some issues. So that is a big question for me. I mean, obviously we'll see how it is week one. Excited for that game. Obviously been
Yep.
talking straps with the team. They're getting their shotgun dimes down. I didn't even mean to, but I drafted the most frat team that's ever been in RWL.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna see how it plays out.
Yeah, speaking of AI pictures, Tate, I mean, you touch on Alec. I mean, I think I mean, let me pull this one up here. I think that the greatest AI picture was let's get to it, man. That the kid Trip Krish, man. That kid just looks like a
Yes,
stud,
dude.
man.
He does look
My
And the
favorite
that's
best
pick
what
in the
I'm
part,
saying,
draft.
dude.
this
Like if
this
I'm seeing that picture, that guy's not going in the third round. I mean, that guy's going
Exactly. That's how
second
deep
overall.
this league is,
and
man.
that picture, guys, he didn't even have a bat. They just gave him a bat. That's I think he had a
Can we
glove
get
on
an
him.
age check on Trip? Is he 12 years old?
Dude, I gotta ask because someone asked.
He
I think
looks
he's
like
in
he's like
seventh
14.
grade,
He
but
looks
that
bigger.
kid. But you don't know that kid's he's been in me and Luke's backyard since he was like 4. Like that guy's a dog, man. He's gonna.
I mean, yeah,
He's
he
earned every
looks like a
bucket,
dog.
man. He's starting to grow into his
I thought he
frame.
was gonna be there for me at 50. Like I didn't think Adam was gonna slide. Like I was fully expecting to have Trip on the roster. I thought that's where he was gonna shake up, but I think he's gonna have a great season with the Cowboys for sure. All right, fellas. We wrapped the biggest questions. I kind of also want to get into maybe some power rankings. I want to see what you guys think, and also just the big four awards, what will be taken home. I haven't really given a bunch of thought, so I'm gonna go with it. I think Rookie of the Year is just gonna be Zion. I think very comfortably. I think the volume is gonna be there. It's just like you get a guy, he's walking in with the keys already. It's kind of his team. It's his pitching staff. I think him Rookie of the Year. Silver Slugger. Haven't really. I think this could be the year that Clayton finally gets it. I know he hasn't. He's always just sniffed it. It's going to be obviously his availability. We don't know, but I think him with the frat boys, he's going to be wanting to get out there as much as he can. I like Clayton finally getting a Silver Slugger. He's been there so close. And then Cy Young, man. See, I'm gonna have to cut this out. I got to think. I have no fucking idea. I think Cy Young. I think Giannis gets it this year. Tate,
Wow.
have you won one?
No, I don't actually.
Because
No,
Luke
you
won it
beat
last
Giannis
year,
last
and
year
then I
for
won
it.
2 in a row. I don't think you have,
Yeah.
right?
I don't think I have.
He just has
Yeah,
MVP.
Tate. I got Yannick winning the Cy Young. I think he's too good to have one, and I think last year it's kind of becoming a Kyle Schultz thing. Luke with MLW is I pitch so much that people just see. I just feel like I'm getting seen more, and
Yeah.
everyone kind of knows my stuff. But like Tate's slider, it doesn't really matter. You know it's coming. You can't really hit it. But my stuff, it's more like familiarity. Um,
Yeah.
so I might be on the decline, but I think Tate will bring home Cy Young. I don't know. I think Luke Rowe could bring it home. I don't want to glaze the podcast in here.
I can't
Yeah,
pitch.
I mean the podcast is getting just
Dude, I
slumped
can't
up
It's
right
pitch.
now.
but again, guys, we're the only guys in here who've won. You got a small, badge to prove from. But I think, Luke with Michael on the Cowboys is when he flourishes most. So I got Luke
Every time I'm
winning.
on the mound, I'm throwing up like three for me's from Wendy's or from Chili's or whatever. I can't fucking pitch, dude.
All right, anyone else want to give their
Here, yeah, I think it's gonna be hard for anyone else to pick anybody outside Zion. I mean, like, if you go look at the tape this past year, the kid's absolutely disgusting on the mound. Um, like the bat's obviously there being a college baseball player, so I think the pick is, I would guess, is going to be unanimously Zion. But there's obviously a ton of interesting rookies we brought into the league, so it could be any of them. But I think I'm going to go with Zion. Um, yeah, for Cy Young, yeah, I think I'm going to keep the consensus. I'll go with Tate. I think that's like, I'm not going to guess for him, but probably one of the awards he's circling this year to add to his trophy case.
Mhm.
I think last year was pretty close between him and Ben, so I doubt anything's really going to change this year. So I'm going to go with Tate for Cy Young. Um, Silver Slugger, give me Austin Dubek.
I was thinking
Mm.
about him.
Yeah, I think 2 years ago, I think he hit 10 home runs or something in the regular season. It just
Yeah, he had a
happened to be
lot.
that Ben hit like 13 or something.
Yeah,
So
13.
if he's able to kind of replicate that production, I'm going to give it to him. Um, and then MVP, I'm gonna.
It's tough. There's a lot of talent.
Do I just let this fly though?
Let's hear it. Luke, just let it
I
fly,
think
man.
I'm gonna go Blake Herlander for
Oh,
MVP.
wow.
I think that
All right, shut the
Hey, he
Zoom
was a
down.
finalist
Shut the
last
Zoom
year.
down.
I'm
Shut
going
it
Blake
down.
Herlander, man. He's gonna bat 400. He's gonna have a sub
Let's go,
two five
man.
ERA. I'm taking Blake. But I'll tell you one thing: out of anybody in the league, like when we first started and like Blake was pitching, I feel like I was probably batting like 800 against him. Like now I can't touch him. Maybe it's just because I'm trash, but like, dude,
He's
I feel
throwing
like
hard.
not many people have gotten better on the mound than Blake. So I'm gonna take Blake for MVP.
I think Tate's got Blake winning the trifecta.
I'm speechless. Um, Rookie of the year. I'm gonna fade y'all a little bit. I'm gonna go with Matthew Dubek. I think if
No.
Austin is giving up this much capital for him, I mean he was gonna draft him first overall. I think there's a lot, and there's obviously a lot of potential there. I don't really remember watching Zion pitch, but I have a feeling that Matthew Dubek's gonna have some dirty pitches at the mound. So that's why for him, pick Rookie of the Year. I think again, Zion obviously has a really good chance to win it. But we're gonna do that. Slugger, got to go with the frat star Clay, man. I mean, that's just Barry Bonds. He is gonna rake this year. He might bat 800. We were talking about it today. Like, I mean, we said it before. Like, he couldn't hit me. I think it was more of a mental thing. I think he could probably hit me if I didn't talk as much crap. But there's no one stopping him now. So I'm gonna go Slugger for Clay, and then Cy Young. I'm gonna bring it to Jack Sanders, dude.
Yeah.
I've been talking bad about the Pacific. But I think Jack's gonna go up there, and I think he's gonna
Right.
do good. He's gonna get a lot more volume this year. Obviously, I'm sure Blake will have him
Good point.
pitching first. So their volume will be there. He's gonna get more pitches in. I think the problem with him last year was he would just come in, game two, not get a lot of warm up in, and that's where all of his runs would come from, and all of his walks was just like kind of kicking the rust off. So I think Jack's obviously is gonna have a really good year. I think he's gonna have a really good year on the mound. I just don't think the Pacific are going to score any runs, so it's not going to matter. But we're going to go Cy Young with Jax. And then MVP, I mean, I'm winning it again, dude. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like, back to back. I'm making my GOAT case. That's just what this year is all about. It's about becoming the GOAT because Ben put that he's the GOAT on his AI picture, and
Got it.
that's just not true anymore.
You got to touch the mic.
Ben's Lightning McQueen, he's dying. He's dying at 30.
That
It's
could
on
be
one of
true,
those
though.
electric cars that dust him.
Could be
It could be
true.
So
my Jackson Storm. That's true.
yeah, I mean, I'm. It's just that's what we're gonna. Those are my picks for the top three. And I guess now do y'all want to get into the power
Yeah.
ranking? Yeah, I'll
Taking
go next. I think the first three teams are very interchangeable. For right now, I have the Serpents, Frost, Cowboys, but honestly, like that's not set in stone. I could be convinced hearing those top three any other way. No glaze to the podcast, just making facts out
That
there.
is,
And you got to be a good team in the league, you got to have like a top five manager or a top three manager, honestly.
and also,
Um,
yeah, the greatest player in the league's history is in
yeah,
that group,
me, yeah,
though.
me, yeah, yeah. That's why I put me up there.
Luke?
Um, and then I got
How's
the
it going?
Outlaws kind of differentiating from Ben. I think the Outlaws are gonna be really good, so I have them at four, Express at five, and shocker to no one, Pacific dead last, just like every year. Blake will somehow get the odds for the number one pick again, and probably get the sixth pick.
That's something. I'm gonna go for mine. First, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I really like how Luke shaped up his draft. Losing Luke Parker was tough, but landing a guy Michael who in 2 seasons, won a World Series in 2 games and then heartbreakingly lost the second one and third. Like there's good recipe there, and then getting a very good project, I say the least, Alec at 11, who has some value at 11 is really good. And then Tripp, his two brothers have produced in this league. Why not get a guy who's got it in the blood to hit? I really like Luke at 1. 2, I think the champs, you got to have the champs very high. Drafted one of the best players in the league, maybe top 5 player in the league. I would put my team at 3rd. Tate made a good point analyzing, giving us an
No, you were talking
analysis.
about the champs, and I had to just throw the. All right, let me.
You can
Sorry,
keep
you
it
can
up
keep
there if you
going.
want, man. Yeah, and then yeah, Tate it too. You got to have the champs up there. I have my team at 3rd. I know you guys are higher on my team, but first half of the year I was being called the washed goat, and then I kind of figured it out a little bit second half. So we don't know what kind of Rotundo play we're going to get this year. I think could be a little bit of a Lightning McQueen scenario. I don't think I'll ever get to the level I was playing in those 2 years, but I still think I could be a top 5 player. So my team at 3rd, and then a little bit of a hotter take. I have the Express at 4. I really like I know the pitching is a question, but I just think that Dubek could be maybe his brother could be a really good player and kind of carry the load pitching, and then offensively they're going to be really good. Um, I have the Pacific. I have the Outlaws at 5. I have the Outlaws at 5. Tate. I have the Outlaws at 5. My biggest question is actually the offense with the Outlaws because you had Hunter, who was kind of a black hole last year. Kush is going to be a black hole unless it's Tate Yannick on the other side of the hill.
Yeah,
And then
he rakes me.
Zion is going to be a superstar on the mound, but we don't know with a small sample size how offensively, like, how great he can be. I'm sure he's going to be great. And then Everett bat 390 last year, but that seems maybe a potential lightning in a bottle. Who knows? I love Kaplan. We'll see how he does, but I'm just worried about the offense there. But I mean, the pitching staff can be one of the best, if not the best in the league. And then I have the Pacific last, but again, we saw last year that other than the Express last year, all the teams were literally between like 2 games. So the talent's very spread out. So it's really hard to rank these teams. But with the Pacific, just the lack of offensive firepower scares me a little bit. Like if Blake plays like he does last year, there's a chance he could get pitched around maybe if that comes to that. I think that's gonna be my power rankings. Yeah.
Say Blake's can get pitched around.
I mean, maybe he was a great hitter last year.
Tate's face. Oh, sorry. Okay, do you want me to go? Cut that,
Wait,
cut that.
hold on. I'm tired of this disrespect. Blake Herlander was an MVP candidate last year. I think he's a phenomenal player. So yeah,
Dude, he is.
I think he can get pitched around, man. All right, I think he can.
He's my MVP pick. He's
He's
gonna
a
get
great
pitched
hitter.
around.
Tate thinks we're on the slopes, but that was him last night. So
Yeah, Defrost will not be pitching around Blake Herlander.
All right, but I'm gonna get my. Are you
yeah,
done with your pick?
let's hear Luke's. What is that?
What is that?
This has gone off the rails quickly. All right, Luke, you want to give us yours?
Yeah, I'll go 1 through 6. Um, yeah. So first, I got no glaze. Yeah, I got the Serpents at 1. I think Ben outlined like he didn't have the greatest year last year, but I mean he batted like 330 with 8 home runs. So if that's like the
5,
floor you're
not
getting
8,
with Ben,
5,
it's like
5. But I appreciate it.
5. Okay, I'll say
Yeah,
5.
just again, this is why I have the graphic up back here. The narrative last year was I was the washed king, but I had the best year that people. My year as a washed king is better than anyone's best year besides
Dude, how does
Nolan.
this always turn into Ben
I
Rotundo
just had to
Glaze fence?
I just had to set the narrative straight. That's why I'm Thanos, and there's no end game. It's just Infinity War. I just win. So all right, Luke, continue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So my
well,
opinion, I
didn't
think
win last year.
Hey,
that's true.
squirrel finds a nut.
Yeah, I think at 1, like I got a pretty clear 1, but I think, like 2 and 3 is pretty like movable. Like I have ourselves in the Pacific, but I think that's pretty much a coin flip in my mind. Like Tate, obviously, like him and Clayton that's the best 1-2 player combo in the league. So, it's going to be really hard to beat that. And then after it at 4, I'm just gonna trust my gut. Give me the Pacific. Like I think, with Blake Verlander leading the pack, you get an ace like Jack Sanders, like that's gonna be a hard team to beat. We're gonna look back on this video and be like, man, why did we not have the Pacific as high as 2? So, I'm gonna have them at 4. Um, and then moving on from there, I really like what the Outlaws have done to draft. Zion is, I mean. talk about like the highest floor of any prospect in this draft. I think it's going to be Zion. Like even though it's a limited sample size, we know what the kid can do. And then yeah, I have the Express last, but again, it's just a lot of unknowns. You know, you get a manager coming back after 2 years not playing in the league, so and then obviously like everyone on that team has huge potential. So certainly we can look back and be like, yeah, they should have been a top three team post draft. So that's my 1 through 6, but everybody's super close. Like I think we all kind of acknowledge. Yeah,
Yeah,
not
I'd like to
even
bring
like
something else up. Wait, sorry. I want
no,
to bring
you go
something
ahead,
else.
Tate.
Is there any way that like in editing we can get a video right here? There's like about
I'll
a
put it
five
in.
second
I,
clip
I'll put it in. I'll
of
put it in.
the Serpents manager Victor Tundo last year. And, he's talking about all these players that he drafted. He promised his player Logan Morgan that he was gonna protect him. Where is this protection that I see?
Hopefully next year I get drafted from the Serpents. But, we're gonna best year of my life, man, playing with this team. Over here. Hey, buddy. Here with Steph. Steph back in the.
You got to play the video in post, dude. I mean, this guy is glazing Logan Martin like, oh, dude, I'm protecting you, buddy. I mean, that wasn't even a thought in Ben Rotundo's head going into this year. I just wanted to throw that up there to just prove how much of like a washed manager Ben Rotundo is. He's lying to his teammates over here. The Pacific are going to go 0-18 this year, and if somehow by some miraculous freaking God intervention that they go to the World Series and win, I will never play in this league again. I'm hanging up the cleats, and I'll give Blake $1 billion.
Wow.
That's
What
a,
a hefty statement.
that's a statement.
Sign the check.
Fellas, it was a great time. I know you guys are excited to play week one. I'm just excited for Thanos right there to just take what's right. He kind of let
Okay.
Tate play around last year, and don't let me bring up the stats. All-time leader in home runs, greatest ERA, leader in strikeouts, wins, only player to go undefeated on the mound.
Yeah, but I bet
Um,
I've struck out more than you have.
no, that's true. I don't have that record, and I don't think
Yeah,
anyone
so
has
watch
that
it,
record.
buddy.
Well, fellas, it was a pleasure, Luke and Tate. Really excited for this season. We'll get this puppy going. So I appreciate you guys. How do I? Of
Sounds good. Thanks, Kamish.
course, I'm the
Right,
goat of
thanks,
commissioning.
thanks, goat.